one game away from their 5th national championship and their first in 19 years. And here are the stats. They hit .583 in that game and are now .386 in the match.
And even though they don't have Chiarelli going, the Trojans don't. They don't really need it. Murphy Troy is such a horse. They're just setting him every ball near the end there. And he's up to 22 kills now, hitting 500, just the way he lit up the Anteaters when they played 9 days ago. Anteaters with no answer for Troy. They're going to have to find one if they want to turn this around and win in 5.
And perhaps the first move they will try and make will be with Bryan Simmons, who well, he had checked into the game and now goes back over to the bench with Asuka getting a start here in game 4 in the back. But Murphy Troy just on a tear there in the 3rd. They rode him 10 kills to lead the way. 22 now on the match, and Chiarelli to serve. Point UC Irvine, and here comes Simmons now. So a new middle, he replaces Diamore. Try and get the block back in business. Winning with the serve. Well, they got a piece of one right away. Out of the back to Falk, but he's blocked. Zahn with the solo.
Nice read by Zahn there to go think that Dufault was going to go crossbody, and now the reception error by Dufault. Anteaters on their heels early.
Current through the floor with it. 2-1 USC. Their 10 losses on the year would be the 2nd most for a national champion. UCLA lost 12 times in 2006 with a very similar late season run. They came on like gangbusters in the last month of the season, and that's what the Trojans have done.
It was maybe even more than a month. They went on like a 14-match win streak, unheard of. Ran the table. All you really need to do to win is run the table 5 times. They did it 14. USC on the verge of running that 5th match for the title.
They have already beaten in the postseason the top 4 ranked teams in the country, and are now trying to beat number 1 for the 2nd time in 9 days.
And it is not easy to beat a team this good and this disciplined, this well coached as this Anteater team. If USC does it again, hats off to the Trojans.
McKibben looking to try Blom. Block not there in time. Point USC.
What a pass by Luke Morris. That was a very hard serve by Clark. Morris putting it right on the money. He's been such a steadying influence for these Trojans in this his senior year. Scary for their opponents. He's the only senior, and then they only have 1 junior.
Clark right at McKibben. Bumped by Troy. Chiarelli with the tip out of the back. Tried to finesse it.
And Asuka was all over that one, just like they practiced, and they had seen it on film. Asuka ready if that had come over the tape.
And also a starter back on that 2007 championship team, the senior from Hawaii. 2nd all-time in digs behind Tony Kerr, who was on that championship team in 06 for UCLA. No touch, say the officials. Point Irvine. We'll catch every minute of the NCAA men's lacrosse postseason on the ESPN family of networks. Started today, and you can catch 4 games tomorrow starting at noon on ESPNU. Check out NCAA.com. It's the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. USC taking on USC in water polo. USC UCLA, I should say, tomorrow. We got the women's softball selection show tomorrow night. And a big weekend and a big month of May for NCAA championships. We're going to give a championship trophy out tonight, and Irvine on top here in the 4th. When we come back, we'll flick the brick. 6-3 here in the 4th in favor of Irvine. It's SC so far in the match, 2-1. And let's take a look at the Home Depot Coaching Clinic.
Well, what happens here is a fourth hitter is coming at opponents. In this case, Jordan Default, number 7, right off the back of number 19, Kevin Wynn. You see him pass the ball there. And then Wynn comes first. And then a second hitter comes right after. And it's overloading on one blocker there, 2-on-1. Puts a lot of pressure, stresses the defense.
The big in our Home Depot coaching clinic.
It hasn't been working that well tonight for Default in particular, hitting only 136 right now to this point. The Anteaters would love to get him going a little more effectively if they want to make this go 5.
Beth Mullins along with Coach Garai here in Provo, Utah for the national championship match. Irvine striking with Simmons. The substitution here in game 4 to try and get their block going again in the middle.
And he's being Gene right now. That's the nickname. Assistant coach Mark Brescia gave him when he's doing nice things at the net, getting a touch on the block, putting it away offensively. He's Gene.
And when he's not, he's Richard.
He's been Gene a lot this season.
There's the guy they call Bones, serving it up, Taylor Wilson. And a block. Simmons was a part of it with Default.
You can see Simmons really giving the Anteaters a lift here. 2 great, well-formed blocks. Exactly what Sparrow was hoping for that time. Even though he didn't touch the ball, he was right next to Default, who makes a perfect block, taking away the line. Expect Troy, if he gets the next one, to hit a different area, probably cross court right toward us. Foot fault
on the serve. They've got more blocks already in this game than they did in the last game with the Simmons substitution. That ends a 5-0 run right there for the Anteaters.
And Wilson probably hasn't foot faulted all season, but this barricade behind there gives him less room than he normally has. The one Troy Gordon was just standing against there.
Free ball here. Ammerman going back outside of Default. Fingertip slowed it down. Now McKibben will set up Chiarelli, and he puts that one into the net.
Chiarelli now hitting about 110 kills, but 7 errors, not particularly efficient, way below his season and especially his postseason average.
Simmons just serves to keep it in play. Chiarelli gets another swing, and this time gets the kill.
And you can see him gesturing up at all the UC Irvine fans, but I see his teammates trying to say, look, quit focusing so much on the Anteater fans and some hecklers up there. It's hard for him not to look on that side of the court because he's looking right through the net up at that huge crew there.
That's what he's looking at right there.
And I think it's to his detriment that he's focusing so much on them and not as much on what's happening on the court.
The quick set to Win pounds it through the floor.
So the fans have to think they're doing their job if they're distracting Chiarelli, and he's taking a look. Chiarelli not able to help on that, too far away from him.
Ammerman. Short on the serve off the tape. The tip by Chiarelli. Clark is there. Out of the back, Wilson blocked. Ammerman a long way to go for it. Clark uses the block for the kill. Carson Clark now with 13.
And that if that had been Bourne blocking there, he might have taken that one, but Clark using the left arm of Chiarelli.
Irvine looking to bounce back and force game 5 in the finals. Provo, Utah, and the men's volleyball national championship. The sun setting here. And Tony Chiarelli getting involved with the UCI fans a little bit, and Bill Ferguson sits him down. You can see him, no matter what, you got to focus on what's going on our side of the net right now. Tony is hitting just 0.97 with 11 kills and 3 digs. Murphy Troy, no. Point UC Irvine. The big substitution, Simmons, is rotated out right now, but that was one of the changes that John Sparrow made, and that has really spurred them here in this game 4.
And they would like to keep this momentum going, but remember, in men's volleyball, they play to 30, unlike the women. There's a lot of volleyball to be played in this game still. Oh my gosh.
Big mistake.
Cannot fall Brent Asuka has to take that ball. The libero is always expected to take that first one. Sparrow keeping his cool. Probably thinking different thoughts inside the calm exterior. A lot of confusion. Asuka really has to, I think, jump in there.
Yep. He did not want to make eye contact with Coach Bryan. Look over at the bench. Gets one there, and Wilson puts it away.
Wilson, having started slow, is really having a nice match now. At his 17th kill, I think, close to hitting 400 here. Hitting 375. Good choices by Ammerman to keep Wilson going.
Default serving. Zahn. Block was there, but he beat it anyways. Point USC. Zahn now with 13 kills and 7 attacks. Chiarelli got it down for the ace. Their second ace of the match. And to Tony's credit, no look to the Irvine cheering section after that one. Big one again, but that one was long.
That's part of what it's going to take for USC to come back in this match is serve more aggressively. Take UC Irvine out of its offense.
Kevin Wynn, the sophomore from Mission Viejo.
That's a nice serve.
Tough pass. Chiarelli's going to swing and into 3 blockers.
Chiarelli just could not get his platform behind that ball, and now he comes out. Brad Keenan coming into the back to help settle Chiarelli down, give him a little spell in the backcourt, get a better pass, which he does.
And it results in the kill for Austin Zahn. So Keenan in here, the 6'4" freshman from Manhattan Beach. Ammerman looking to Clark. Ammerman back the other way to Wilson. That's rejected.
Both setters having a little trouble with their location right now. That first set to Clark was too high. You saw him hang and wait in the air. That means he was expecting it faster. And then Wilson, the ball too tight and just being smothered by Murphy on the outside.
15-10, USC trying to creep back into it, and Zahn upset at himself. Point Irvine. Errors now for Southern Cal. Remember, they had just 6 of them with 12 aces 9 days ago when they swept the Anteaters. Bourne tried to push it, and Ammerman at 6'8", one of the bigger centers around, gets the stuff.
And you can see Riley McKibben screaming, also, my fault. Again, a poorly located ball. Both setters having a little trouble getting the set where their hitters need it. Most important for a setter is just put up a good location and let the hitter go and take a swing at it.
Ammerman now with 8 blocks. Bourne, nobody was out there. And Clark had to take one for the team.
Yes, he did, because the whole team left him completely exposed. You saw 2 Anteater blockers there up into the popcorn machine, thinking for sure that was going to go to Hunter Curran.
Good deception that time by McKibben. Off the block and out. Point UC Irvine, 18-11 here in the 4th.
And that was a much better height and location for Taylor Wilson. He gets a good high swing, even though it comes off the block. He wins that battle. It's only when it drops a little too low that Murphy Troy might get the better of him.
McKibben, rejected. Guess who again? Bryan Simmons back in front, and he's right there with Ammerman. 4 blocks in this game for Simmons.
Look at those hands across the net. Remember last time 2 blockers went up with the quick, so McKibben thought it's not going to happen again. It did.
Wilson, strong serve. Try Bourne. Simmons has changed the course of this match. Substitution now for USC. Matt Knutson will come in.
Number 20, Matt Knutson.
Huge moves by Simmons. First he goes to his right for the stuff, then in the middle, and then to the right.
The 6'8" junior from Anaheim, California. He's owning the net right now.
He is unconscious.
5 blocks in game 4, and Simmons is a huge reason why. He's all Gene Simmons right now.
And even Murphy Troy coming out now. Coach Ferguson did this last Saturday night against Pepperdine, do or die, late in the 4th game. Took a number of his players out, figuring we're going to lose the 4th, going to let them calm down, and then restart, refocus for the 5th they won. Wow.
Ammerman. It's amazing the difference. Games 1 and 3, no block. Games 2, and now game 4, they're all over it.
Sparrow looked like he's actually trying to keep his guys focused, doesn't want them celebrating too much, wants them to think about the next play and getting another block.
Well, is there any danger, Karch, at getting your guys too cooled off for USC by substituting him, maybe sitting here for another 5 or 10 minutes? As Clark gets the kill. Reminder coming up next, it's the MLS Game of the Week with FC Dallas and the Houston Dynamo. Chiarelli has come back on, but Troy stays out for Southern Cal. A 6-0 run for UC Irvine. Wilson with the service hold.
Well, I think Coach Ferguson figures it worked last Saturday. I gave some guys a spell. I gave them a little time to think about it. We came back strong. We fended off 2 match points and ended up beating Pepperdine to get the automatic bid here.
Ammerman looks to Simmons. Gets a taste of his own medicine, but kept alive by the Anteaters on the free ball now for USC. Looking to Chiarelli. Simmons got a piece of it again. Overpass, default. Smith Fieldhouse in Provo, Utah for the national championship. Beck Mullins along with 3-time national champion and 3-time gold medalist Karch Karai. SC looking for a 5th title, but their first in a couple of decades. And Irvine looking for championship number 2 in the last 3 years. And now a substitution for the center as well. Riley McKibben goes out. Vince Altamura comes on. So Bill Ferguson essentially throwing in the towel here in game 4 and hope that his guys are rested and ready to go for a do-or-die game 5.
And this has just gotten utterly out of control. The wheels have fallen off the bus for USC, but I expect them to come back strong as USC has made all these changes, calming the guys down on the bench for a huge game 5 for the title.
Clark off the head of a defender.
Good choice by Ammerman there to get Clark going. He gave him the right location, the right height. You want to have one of your leading hitters, Carson Clark, in good rhythm going into game 5.
Oh, for what it's to, Karch as well, the side of the floor that Irvine is on right now has won every game in the match, and they will flip for it, right? And so a team can pick this side of the floor.
But remember,
for the
they'll
5th.
switch halfway through.
That's right, to start it out.
So maybe a team will decide to finish.
You want to finish here
for the other side. Maybe part of it is USC wants to get away from those hecklers too. Who knows?
Will be interesting strategy. A 12-2 run right here. The blitz is on for the Anteaters.
A lot of miscues on the Trojan side. Misconnections between setter and quick hitter, setter and outside hitter.
How will the Trojans respond in game 5 as Chiarelli and Zahn come back on?
See how short Altamura is. They're going right at him, right over him.
Check out ESPN for Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. It'll be Tampa Bay and Boston at 8 Eastern. Then it's Monday Night Baseball at 7 Eastern. Atlanta and New York. Major League Baseball on ESPN and ESPN 360 Sunday and Monday night. Bodies flying everywhere. A ball goes out of play. Point for the Trojans. And Ammerman went down hard. And he's going to take a moment to catch his breath.
This is actually a point where you got to think when you're up 28-13. Be careful. Don't hurt yourself. There's another game to be played here. I think Ammerman had enough room, but you just, when the ball is up in the air, you have to make a very quick calculation as a defender. What kind of risk am I going to take? If it were 28 all at match point, you go for it. But at 28-13, be careful. The Anteaters, and now Coach Speraw calls a timeout to let him shake it off some more.
Coming up next, we've got MLS soccer for you with Dallas and Houston, and Ryan Ammerman, who watched and waited behind Bryan Thornton when they won the championship in 2007. A disappointing junior season for the guy they call Ammo, and now an All-American season as a senior. Let's go back to 2007 when John Speraw became the third person in NCAA history to win a title as a player and then a coach. And it was the 4 senior All-Americans that led the way against IPFW in 4 games. And they won it all in Columbus, Ohio for their first national championship.
That's right. It was all about the seniors, and one of them is here tonight, Bryan Thornton, who came and watched this Anteater team in the middle of April and said, my gosh, there's such balance there. I think this 09 team is better than the team of 2 years ago, his own team. And there you can see the player and the coach. Speraw wanting to become the only coach to win 2 as a player and now going for his second win as a coach.
And ironically enough, Bob Yoder at the top of that list to start at USC. His son Corey is on the Irvine roster and could win a national championship. He's here cheering on his son. Ammerman appears to be okay. 2 points away from forcing the 5th game to decide it, and there's Corey Yoder.
His dad, a great player at USC, then going on to coach at Ohio State and USC.
The fault's blocked.
The matchups are really going to be key. Remember, you can start with any one of your 6 players serving, and each time of these first 4 games, the matchup has been different. Different players serving for the 2 teams. Irvine got to be careful here not to give up any of that momentum. Want to carry that right through into the 5th game. Sorelli swinging probably beyond the end line, but it goes off the hands of the block.
Ammerman looking for default, and now it's game point. Stella will come on to serve. The senior who was UC Irvine's most outstanding student athlete, a former All-American on the basketball court. He'll be going to med school next year. He's become one of their best cheerleaders over there. He's been such a positive influence at keeping the guys upbeat. Was terrific in practice all day yesterday. Getting the opportunity to end this game.
Looked like somebody netted, no?
Clark misfires. Now they'll receive serve with a chance to win it.
I'm impressed with what Stella has done. That's so difficult, especially here at altitude, to come in cold once a game, pretty much at game point after sitting for 25 minutes and serving a rocket over the net.
Chiarelli errors on game point. USC 2, UC Irvine 2. The first to 15 takes home the championship trophy when we come back to Provo, Utah to decide the national championship.
To win a national title would fulfill my dreams. would be great and would take lots of dedication.
To win a national championship would mean everything.
Would be a great way to end my career.
To win the national title would mean the world to me.
And for one of these sides, the national championship just moments away as we go to a deciding Game 5. First to 15, must win by 2. Midway through, the teams will switch sides. USC 5-4 in 5-setters. Irvine is 4-0 on the year when they go to 5.
And remember, these teams went 5 earlier this season. UCI coming out on top.
Bryan Simmons, who was so pivotal in that Game 4. Murphy Troy with 23 kills. Taylor Wilson with 18 to pace their teams. USC will start out on the side of the court that has won every game so far. And for Troy and McKibben, they were resting for the second half of that Game 4 after USC said, all right, we'll give it to you and get ready to play the 5th. The big block returned for UC Irvine in the 4th with Simmons leading the way along with Ryan Ammerman. The best blocking team in the country. When they blocked tonight, they won games 2 and 4. When they didn't, SC won games 1 and 3.
One more big time. Here we go, guys. Get set.
Hunter Current to serve. Ammerman. Wilson, the senior, got it down. Point Anteaters.
And it appears that we have yet another different matchup. Each time the coaches have been spinning their lineup, starting with a different server in an effort to outfox the other coach.
Carson Clark, the redshirt freshman, back to serve. McKibben looking for Murphy Troy. We expect he'll get a lot of opportunities here in the 5th, but he missed that one. 2-0 Irvine.
And you could see him just now telling McKibben, give me the ball again. Expect McKibben to try to go to him and make up, give him a chance to make up for that error.
23 kills leads everybody in the match. Off the tape, McKibben instead goes to Zahn. It's blocked. Now the other way, Chiarelli dug up by Asuka, but out. Point Trojans. And the freshman comes through in Cardinal.
The Trojans would love to get Chiarelli going. He's been struggling for much of the evening, hitting about 130 until this first kill of Game 5.
Ammerman. Wilson again with the kill.
And that wasn't that hard a hit, but it was well located right between the two defenders. Neither Trojan makes a move for it. Rather, they should have both made a move and crossed over to get that. 20
kills now for Wilson. These two teams mirroring their coaches. Irvine all business, USC all emotion.
Service error, ball back
Out.
to the Trojans.
Point Trojans. Soccer's coming up next after the conclusion of our national championship match. Chiarelli serving. Ammerman to Wilson out of the back. Morris got enough of it. Bourne with a swing and the shank from Wilson. Even at 3 apiece.
Bourne somehow slipping that through the block. He was blind going backwards, actually.